guys, how's it going tonight? Good? You guys doing good today? All right. Okay, so the first speaker we have tonight is Derek Chung with Green Street Vault. He's pretty revolutionary. I got a chance to speak with him earlier. So he's the creator of Green Street Vault, which is Boston's first retail truck specializing in men's apparel. Green Street carries a diverse collection of nationally recognized brands, as well as a hand-picked selection of local brands supporting young and talented designers. Derek started his mobile retailer in August of 2011 as a senior at Emerson College and graduated this past May. In one short year, he and Green Street Vault have been featured on the front page of the Boston Globe Style section, listed in the Globe's magazine's Best of 2011 issue, and won the title of Best Men's Clothing Shop by the Boston Phoenix. His face has been on the cover of the Metro, on ABC's Chronicle, the Travel Channel, and NBC's Today Show. And to speed up the Q&A, yes, ladies, Derek is single. I'm going to pass it off.
Thank you, good sir. Thanks everybody for coming, and thanks everybody for sitting over here. Cool. My name's Derek. I drive the Green Street Vault. So I'm originally from Baltimore, but I moved here 4 years ago and just fell in love with Boston. Like you said, I went to Emerson College and just graduated. So in Boston here, I'm always surrounded by positive and goal-driven thinkers and passionate and creative entrepreneurs. I think that's a lot of why Green Street Vault got to where it is now. Anyway, I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about Green Street, and I'm going to start off with a brief overview of mobile retail as a category, and then talk about Green Street Vault specifically, including permitting issues that we're experiencing in Boston right now, and then soapbox it for a little bit for the brick and mortar versus retail truck discussion. And if you're still awake by the end, I'll share what we have in store for the rest of this year and next year as well. So the concept of selling wares, anything, from vehicles isn't new. And creating retail spaces outside of traditional storefronts is popular for promo and pop-ups mostly. The category of fully operational, open 7-day-a-week standalone trucks, however, is new, like within the past 5 years new. So I keep close tabs on the category as it grows, and from the research I've done, there's still less than 100 retail trucks in America, and there are less than 10 that operate in Boston. So within the next year, I'm expecting at least a 40% increase in the category due to the incredible amount of press and attention retail trucks are getting now. I hope those signs are right, the greater than less than signs. We had a discussion about this earlier. All right, so this is the first sketch ever of the truck that I did in 2010 as a junior at Emerson. And yeah, I'm an artiste. I'm a very good artist. I was a part of a program, an entrepreneurship program at Emerson called E3, and it's a program that lasts a year, and over the course of the year, every student creates their own business, and my business was Green Street Vault, and at the end of the year, every student presents their business to a room full of investors, professors, friends, family, general public, for a chance to win $5,000 cash, $2,000 of free legal help, and a limited time of free PR. So I ended up winning first place with Green Street Vault, and from the business plan competition, I got connected with an investor, and by August 2011, I was out there every day on the truck selling clothes. So the truck is actually an old N-Star electrical truck that we gutted and completely remodeled to accommodate the needs of a retailer. We're actually remodeling and renovating again now, which is why the truck isn't outside right now, but it'll be ready for relaunch at the end of the month. So this is what the truck looks like now, for anybody who hasn't seen it. So from August 2011 to April 2012, we were open 7 days a week, parking in the Back Bay downtown, college campuses. We went to events, festivals, all that stuff. So in April, we actually had Boston's Inspectional Services ticketing the truck every day that it was out for occupying city property without proper permits. And they let me know very respectfully that they were following me on all my social media and that they were keeping tabs on me, what I was doing, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, great, cool. So the reason why we were occupying city property without a proper permit is because a proper permit does not yet exist in Boston. So we were, in a way, being punished for, you know, going out there and just trying to run the business. Under the permit that I do have now, it's called a hawkers and peddlers permit. It's the same permit that, like, you know, people have in the Commons and people selling like $5 sunglasses have. So that's all the same permit. And apparently, right? So this is a familiar map, right? So apparently, the last time that this permit was amended was in the early 1900s. So that's like pre-World War I, pre-Depression, pre-suffrage. So like this area, right? This area in the box indicates restricted vending for hawkers and peddlers from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. And if you can see, it's the whole city. So yeah. And let's talk about how the lack of a permit affected Green Street Vault and the business. So April 2012, we were open for 8 months-ish. Business was really, really awesome. It was really starting to pick up. Branding was on point. Social media engagement was at an all-time high. The brand was really gaining some serious traction. So you can understand how untimely this was for me, considering that mobile retail was still and is still undefined within the law. And because a mobile retail truck permit doesn't yet exist, you know, we were still getting all these tickets, and we just had to figure something out in the meantime. So, at the end of April, right, I get this tweet from Michael O. And he owns a company called Tech Superpowers. They fix Apple computers. They had a location on Newbury Street. So he said they were moving out of there on May 1st, and he might have a possible solution for me. So I inquired, and he said he was moving out May 1st. He had the lease till the end of July. Would you like to use this space and, you know, sell your goods? So I was like, yes, and yes, let's do it. So we opened our first pop-up with a local brand called Annie Malls, and we called it the Green Street Jungle. That was at 252 Newbury Street. So the store closed at the end of July. We opened May 5th, closed it at the end of July when the lease ended. And looking back on it now, we had a really, really awesome store. And it was really fun. We had weekly in-store events, live performances, classes, networking events, anything you can think of, we had it in the store. And I know it's really cliche to say, especially as an entrepreneur, but they say that entrepreneurs pivot when they're approached with challenges. So that's exactly what we had to do, pivot to awesomeness. And I'm really glad this opportunity just allowed me to do that. So after closing my first pop-up, I know what it's like to run a retail truck and a storefront based on the strength of my own brand. So I'm in no way saying that I've got it all figured out, I've got all the answers, and because I don't. I learn new things about my business every day, and I still make mistakes. Yes, I know, I still make mistakes. And what I can bring to the table though is some insight into this whole truck versus brick and mortar debate. So I hope I can help you guys come up with, you know, your own opinion, whether or not you agree with me. So I was once told a few months ago by an inspection officer, as he was writing my ticket, that my business wasn't fair because I'm stealing business from storefronts that are parked on that block. And this was while I was parked in front of the T-Mobile and the Beloco on Boylston and Mass Ave downtown. So I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway, the argument is, right, that I'm a rent-free shop, and I park anywhere, and I'm leeching business from brick and mortars, but I wouldn't be a rent-free shop if I had a paid-for, city-issued permit where I'm charged per square foot of space at the average market value price of commercial real estate on that block, if that makes sense. Which is just an idea that I'm throwing out there. So, the truck causes a lot of buzz wherever it's parked. And stores like Johnny Cupcakes, who sell a very similar product, understood this early and encouraged us actually to park near their store, because they realized that the relationship was symbiotic, not competitive. The customer doesn't, if a customer doesn't find what they want on my truck, they can just easily walk across the street or wherever to go to a store like Johnny Cupcakes and find what they're looking for. And I'll point them in that direction, and they'll point people to my truck. It all works together. A retail truck and storefront are not necessarily mutually exclusive, and they don't have to be. One of the main differences between food trucks and retail trucks is, if you're hungry, let's say, and you get a grilled cheese from like Clover, let's say, right? You're not going to be going into a restaurant directly after that to get another grilled cheese. But with retail trucks, if you need to buy a hat, and you come to my truck and you buy a hat, you can go across the street and get another hat at a storefront. It doesn't work the same way as food trucks do, as well as food trucks versus retail trucks versus storefronts. So bottom line is, competition drives business, and with this truck, we're making the pie bigger for everybody. We're not taking slices away. And this is one of the biggest reasons why. Inventory. My truck doesn't have the inventory or stock levels to realistically compete with a store whose stockroom is 10 times the size of my floor space alone. And so, at the end, limited space means lower inventory quantities, which therefore means lower revenues overall. So, my last point here is location. So, location is really important, especially in retail, and it's the same thing for retail trucks. If a permit was tested, location is going to be one of the main elements that could actually make or break the program. And retail trucks as a business aren't as consistent as brick and mortar stores, just by nature. So being scheduled or choosing to park in one location versus another could cost you a lot of business if you choose the wrong spot. But it does make it a lot more fun though. So that's over. Now, here's some fun stuff. What is Green Street Vault all about? Please tell me. So, 3 things Green Street Vault stands for, right? One of these things is constant creativity. The next thing is frequent innovation. And the third thing is consistently delivering a memorable customer experience. Each element complements the other and are incomplete without each other. So following these 3 guidelines, we're opening our second pop-up shop. So we had a first one on Newberry Street. So we're opening our second, again, in collaboration with Animals, called the Kyoto Jungle. So it's an experiential concept store. We're still in the process of building it, but it will be open tomorrow, so you guys should come. 50 Gloucester. I don't know what time we'll be open because we're still building it, but so we're going to focus in the store about, we're going to focus on experience, like I said before. We're also going to focus on manifesting this lifestyle and this culture that our 2 brands really embody. So along with that, we're going to be carrying some of the hottest gear in the city. So everybody in this room should come. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, the main goal of Green Street Vault in the end, however, is to get the truck back out on the streets. So after this pop-up shop closes, 2013, we are going to be traveling across the country in the Green Street Vault America Tour. And that's going to be from Boston to California. We'll be hitting 15 major cities along the way, familiarizing the whole country with mobile retail, what it is, and exposing our brand more intimately and more effectively than just showing pictures online. So I'd like to thank Jordan for inviting me to do this and tell my story. And I would also like to thank you guys for not throwing anything at me yet. And everybody's still awake, so we're good. Yeah, so I'll be around. Come over and talk with me. I'd love to chat with all of you. I'll probably be back there by the bar.
Thanks, Eric. That was great. We're gonna actually. You want to do a Q&A here? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? There we go. Yeah, we're running that mic up to you.
Questions? 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 This guy? All right.
You were mentioning the difference between retail and a truck versus brick and mortar. How does online fit into that? For example, Amazon, which seems like they even have more of an unfair advantage that they don't have a location, they can sell anywhere, they can cross-state ship without paying sales tax. You were talking about experience, is that how you try to compete against online retail?
Yeah, competing against online is a completely different beast in itself, I think. I think people now are becoming more trustworthy, of course, of the internet and buying online and trusting sites like Amazon and Karmaloop to that the sizes are going to fit, especially with clothing. The sizes are going to fit, color's going to be right when they see it, but that's not always the case. And how we get in between online and brick and mortar is that I think we are actually a gateway between those two channels. We can travel anywhere with the store and show people a physical product if they were to buy that product online, of course within driving distance. But yeah, it's definitely tough. I hear your point. I agree with what you're saying about online and like shipping and handling and all that. But I think we can beat online by driving more intimately and showing people products firsthand, before they buy it. Because I know in retail there is still a huge appeal to just feel the product, like feeling the product and seeing the cotton or the polyester or whatever it is a huge draw for clothing itself. So I think that's one way we have a one-up. But online does stay open 24 hours. So yeah, that one's tough. That was tough.
Any more clever questions?
Oh, I don't know. I can't vouch that it's clever. Can it just be a question?
Oh, it's
gotta be clever.
Cool. It could be.
Okay. Well, I'll make it as clever as possible. First of all, I want to say that it is so impressive seeing what you've done.
Oh, thanks.
The guts, the initiative, it's amazing. I'm wondering, you mentioned that you feel like there's probably less than 100 of these sorts of trucks nationally. What sort of communication, what sort of learnings are you sharing with other people that are doing this? Obviously you mentioned Clover, but I'm just curious, especially this idea of a retail truck versus a non-food truck. Have you had a chance to share any ideas?
You mean with other retail?
With other people that are trying to do this in a truck.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who reaches out to me via email gets a response from me. I'm trying to, right now, expand this category. That's what it's all about right now. It's, of course, there's actually another truck that sells very, very similar product to us in Boston, and that's totally fine. So
It seems like you could really leverage what you've learned for other people. So
yeah,
that was it.
yeah. I'm really trying to help because I'm just trying to be a resource for anybody who wants to start their own business. So
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Questions over here.
So social media is supposed to be one of the great advantages of the truck, van business, food trucks you hear about, tweeting their location. You mentioned, Boston's Finest, using that to know where to ticket you. How do you feel about that channel kind of cutting both ways for you?
Sort of sucks, honestly. But it comes with the territory, I think. It is an incredibly powerful tool that we still use to this day. And I have so many more loyal customers and just brand advocates from social media itself. A lot of people who don't even live in Boston really, really support the brand. So without it, we wouldn't have the reach at all. I don't think my business would be possible without social media.
I just want to congratulate you for getting it off the ground. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
I had a question about sort of the balance between impulse shoppers and loyal brand people.
Very, very good question.
Do you have a good balance between that, or how do you manage that?
So that mostly depends on location, actually. So I remember many, many moons ago, I was parked on Newbury Street, and Newbury Street is a very interesting area. It's mostly tourists, and that would be a lot of impulse buys. But it's okay, because those impulse buys paid my bills, and it was awesome. But parking, in more, not as foot traffic heavy areas, those would be mostly brand loyal people. But either way, on Newbury Street, on off streets, it was there was, I would say it's on Newbury Street there was like a 70-30 split of impulse shoppers or first time shoppers and brand followers, I guess, and then in more like secret locations, I guess, it was probably switched, so 70-30.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions? No? Cool. Wait, I had a question. Do you need any roadies when you do the international tour?
We can talk later about it.
Cool.
Thank you guys.